Welcome, this is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies. Today it's Get Your Message Out Tuesday, and so let's say hi. And yes, this is going to be a wrap up on about your brand messaging for Get Your Message Out Tuesday. So we're going to be going to review various things about what we've been going over, but basically, not really. We'll be going over what is a brand, and sorry, that sounds very cold. But anyway, yes, we this is Get Your Message Out Tuesday, where we talk about you, your messaging, and your brand, and how you represent yourself out here on the internet. And let me just get my slides ready because I lost them. And let's see, no, that's not it. So let's, sorry about that, everybody. And yeah, well, we could do that one. Yeah, we could do this part, but we won't. So we haven't looked at this part. So where it's all about your social media, and we've talked about your website, and we've talked about your brand and what is interpreted as your brand. And your brand is not your logo or your elements like your colors, etc., so much as who you are and what your mission is in life, and how you communicate that mission when you are doing your messaging. So let's see, have we got there yet? Nope. And you can't halt on this. So. Okay, let's see if we do it now. Yes, we've got it now. Thank goodness. So, we've actually been doing more than 4 week. Well, we've been 4 week trainings on. We looked at. Well, let's go and do the slides here. We've looked at you and your brand for 4 weeks and defining what your brand is, and we've looked at your website and some examples of websites and how they've branded them to reflect their messaging. And then we discussed a little bit about which social media should you be on, and whether or not it is relevant to your market. And then we looked at Facebook and some success stories on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. We looked at how you can create a platform for your brand that will have the messaging that will attract your audience. So, as you know, there are actually, there is 3.6 billion people on the internet today. I checked it up today, so we've been doing this only for about 6 months, so that's a very quick growth on the internet users in the world. So, your audience is out there, and you have to decide whether you want to have a personal brand, whether or not you want your business to be reflective of you. Do you want to call your business by your name? Do you want to put your face out there and represent the business? Or do you want to have a business brand where it's all about the perceived value of your business? So you can do your messaging so that you can have different words, use different words, different brand voice. We went over whether or not you're a Nike or you're a pair of boots, well constructed boots from another company. You have different messaging for your business. Because when you look at a brand, whether it's personal or business, you have to keep yourself top of the customer's mind. So you have to have the messaging to attract them. So I have, as you know, a 6-day intensive to being a brand ninja at http://jgtips.com/brand, where we identify your unique benefits of your business, differentiate you from your competitors, identify your core market, name your product or business, develop your brand messaging, measure how effective it will be when you go out there on your website or on your social media, and then reassess and refine. Because once you have your messaging, you can attract your ideal customer. So I should actually go back, if I can, and tell you what a brand is. And let's see if we can find that. It's in a series of slides. So, brand is what you stand for and stand against, what you believe in, what is your commitment, what is your mission. It is not, yeah, here we are. It is not what your logo and colors are so much as it's your messaging that you makes you stand out from other people. So your mission statement is about what your business stands for. So you could look at it as being your mission statement, but also the voice that you use in terms of the messaging and dialogue that you use when you're out there communicating with people. We had an episode on your brand voice and how you use different words when you're talking to your customers and keep the language consistent. So let's have a look at for your brand. What is your goal for your brand? What do you want for yourself and your business? As I mentioned, are you going to be a personal brand or a business brand? Do you want to be known for your values and your beliefs? Do you want to have branding colors to attract your ideal market? There is a certain color psychology to colors that we haven't really discussed, but we would more in depth in the workshop. That will reflect what your mission is and your values and beliefs that you are, as well as attract your ideal market. And you have to accept that your brand name to become familiar. So, what is your brand goal for your strategy today? This will affect your type of messages and your budget for that message. Plan your brand strategy for the next 5 years. Have a clear vision of where you want your business to be in 5 years. Do you want it to be a household name for what you represent? Do you want to be known for something in 5 years? Or do you just want to be unique? To be unique from others and stand out in 5 years? And so you would want to test your messaging as you go out there onto the social media and see if it's working, if people are being attracted to your messaging and your ideas. So, for your branding strategy goals for the next 5 years, how will you be consistent in your messaging? Will you put together a vocabulary of words that you want to use always in your business? Will you have a certain standard as to what type of language you use, whether or not you're going to be using vulgar words, or whether you'll be at a certain energy level when you're doing your messaging? And of course, you always will, once you've defined what your brand message is and your goals for your brand goals for your brand strategy, then you look at your logo and your colors and see whether or not you can change them or be consistent. Which products, services, or offerings will change over the next 5 years, and how will that affect your messaging? What kind of products or services are you going to have, and how consistent do you want them all to reflect your brand? And which elements will your target market want to remain the same? For example, will they want you to have the same logo? Will they want you to always dress a certain way? Will they, it's all these kinds of things. It depends on your target market, because they want to be familiar with you and know that when they hit your website or they see a message out there on social media, that it's you, and that they can know that they can stop and have a look because they are aware of who you are. So then we also looked at some of the ways that you can spread your messaging. And so there's 12 strategies that you can use to spread your messaging. Of course, we had a look at social media, and we looked at Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and LinkedIn and Instagram as a place where you can do your messaging and have a consistent look to your brand. We looked at some success stories on each of those platforms of businesses that have been able to attract people to their business by doing certain things a certain way. We'll just look at, we just have to use the word Ben and Jerry, or Cadillac, or Porsche, or Levi's. And you know what I mean by these businesses because of the way that they've used consistent branding and messaging in their business. Now, we didn't really look at YouTube videos, but certainly that video marketing is one of the ways to spread your messaging. And we'll be starting a series on YouTube video marketing, as well as a live video marketing and all the other strategies you can use with videos to spread your message next week. You can use the Pinterest pin boards to use for your messaging. You can, of course, use blogging for messaging, and we looked at that at the website. How you can have a homepage, how you can have a blog, about us page, start here page, and all your pages on your website can be reflective of our brand and be consistent in what they talk about or what kind of words they use or the look of your website. You can have webinars to spread your message out and use your brand as the way to spread your message. You can have contests to spread your messaging. You can do polls to get feedback from your customers and audience to see how they like your messaging. You can go to local events and to create awareness for you and your company and your messaging and your brand, of course. And of course, you can also sponsor at charity events with your brand, where your logo and your messaging will be relevant and keep it, as they say, in top of the customer's mind. And of course, direct marketing with flyers and postcards in the mail you can use to spread your message, and email campaigns to those on your subscribers list. You can keep them in the top of, yeah, you can be in the top of the customer's mind by always communicating with them by email and being consistent in your messaging. I have someone right now, I enjoy opening her email to find out what her day or her week was like. They always tell me a little bit about their life before they try and sell me something. So you can have samples of your product or service that would be branded with your messaging and have your messaging so that people can try it out and then one might be interested enough to buy it. So those are 12 strategies to use for your messaging that you can use to create awareness for your brand. So I think I have just my reminder about my offer for helping you create your brand messaging at http://jgtips.com/brand. And once you have your messaging, you can attract your ideal customer. And it's a 6-day intensive, and that I send you worksheets, and we also have webinars that you can view in order to working on what you think will be your brand messaging and how it will be consistent over all the social media. I will be having a webinar in the future on this, so just keep in touch and subscribe to my YouTube channel at jgtips.com/YouTube, where you can find all my YouTube videos being released, as well as my webinars like that, in order to introduce you to the idea of creating your own brand. So, of course, I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning, but yes, I am Jane Gardner of jane-gardner.com. And I like to call this my bio page, although there are a few things missing, the usual credits, etc. And you can't see right now where I live, but I like to call this my brand message, very quick and easy, that I'm there. I create memes. I'm an artist. I like to travel, and I have a dog, and I live in Western Canada. It's part of my story, and so I like to use it in all my videos as my sort of bio, in terms of it's nice and quick and easy, and you can get to know me a little bit better by looking at it. So that is basically a wrap up of what is your brand. We've been doing it for 6 weeks, and I'm going to be creating a sort of page that you can opt into if you want to go back and look at all the videos. I've got to put them all on there. There's about 30, 40 of them, so I think so. But just keep in touch. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at jgtips.com/YouTube, and you'll get more information on getting your message out. And so next time we will be talking about other things. Of course, we'll always still be mentioning your brand and getting your message out and your messaging, because that's the most important thing. It's not the logo these days or your colors. It's all about being consistent and being in front of your potential customers with your messaging so that they get to know you, like you, and trust you. So this is Jane Gardner, and thank you for listening.